finances, but welcome to the Using Food to Fuel Your Goals, Healthy Habits for High Achievers Masterclass. Some of you are already dropping in to the chat where you're from. We love to know where you're from, connecting with you. If you are watching live over on Facebook, we can see you. We're streaming from the Zoom room. So if you want to be in the room, check your email for the link, or go ahead and click that registration and register so that you can get access to the Zoom room link right now. I see we've got Karen from the Texas Hill Country, Marilyn from Louisiana. Thank you. You can hear me. I would have hoped somebody would have been like, we can't hear you way longer while I chatted. We've got Jennifer from Atlanta, Karen from Sarasota, sunny Tampa. Hello from New York, Janine. Anita from Charlotte. Yes, yes, yes. Kim, hello over on Facebook. Thank you so much. Nice to see you tuning in and letting us know that you can hear us over there as well. So if you are here and you're not registered, head to veginspired.com/masterclass and get registered, get the workbook. If you are registered and you're like, I don't know, she keeps talking about this workbook, but I have no idea where it is. Check your emails. I could end up in spam, junk, promotions. You know how our email services like to protect us from free workshops that we register for. I always try not to use those words because then the email's like, oh, she's trying to sell you something. And I'm like, it's a free workshop they registered for. So go ahead and look for that, or you can drop workbook into the comments either over on Facebook or in the Zoom room, and my amazing VA, Stacy, will help you get that. We've got Jody Lynn over on Facebook from the Mitten, Michigan. Thank you for tuning in. So what you can expect this week. One, we're going to try and keep you all muted. If you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Andrea popping in from Colorado. I love this. Look, we're all over the country. It's amazing. All week long, I'll be guiding you through strategies, mindset, and habits that I use to implement and create a sustainable eat more plants lifestyle. So whether you're here as already an herbivore, you're an omnivore, or you're a carnivore and you're really just looking to eat more plants, this is the workshop for you. Lots of takeaways to help you eat more plants. So I will be your coach all week. I'm at your service all week long. I'll be connecting with you via emails and messages. And I really want you to be bouncing ideas, connecting with me, and letting me help you on this pathway to eating more plants. Additionally, I've opened up some additional spots on my calendar to help you gain some clarity in the workshop. So if you've not booked a clarity call with me, they're like 5 to 10 minutes, really just to identify your goals. And that helps me tailor the workshop, right? The beauty of this is it's live. So when I hear people say, but what about protein? I can be like, we're going to talk about protein. So I can help answer all your questions throughout the week and have that be part of the workshop. So that's veginspired.com/clarity call. Stacy can drop that in the comments, both in Zoom and on Facebook. It's veginspired.com/clarity call. You can get that booked. It's one-on-one time with me to help you really get the most out of this workshop. Each day I will be live right here in the Zoom room and over streaming to Facebook at noon Eastern. So if you miss any of the sessions, you can either access them via the dedicated replay page, which will come out later today, or in the guides tab on Facebook. That is also where we'll post the homework threads and any of the recaps. So those recaps are really nice little posts that kind of pull together everything that I talked about today. But I love this. Look, we've got all of you tuning in live. If you are just tuning in, give me a hashtag team live. And if you are catching this as a replay, some of you are over the pond and you might not be watching this right now, give me a hashtag team replay as you're catching the replays. Now, what I love about this is the connections, but I also love the giveaways. So each day I'll be doing giveaways based on those of you that participate, commenting on the sessions, hashtagging team live, hashtagging team replay, doing your homework, connecting with me, having your calls. Being an active participant allows me to deliver the best workshop for you. The more you ask questions, participate, the more likely that you'll have your name called for a giveaway, and the more you'll get out of the workshop. I see we've got Rena, we've got Donna tuning in from Baltimore, we've got Craig in New Hampshire. I love this, you guys. This is amazing. I'm so excited to be here. And speaking of giveaways, we do have a giveaway coming up later this session. So make sure that you stay tuned and stay active. Now, as a quick background for those of you who may not know me, I'm a real person delivering this live to you right now at noon Eastern. And I travel the country full time in a fifth wheel RV with my husband and our 2 cats. So that means it's a real life tiny home living over here. And as I'm talking, Eddie, my cute little tuxedo cat, is sitting on the counter, which I'm just going to have to let him do that because I'm in the middle of this. So he's naughtily sitting on the counter. So don't be surprised if you hear something fall off or he gets a case of the zoomies and you hear the skitter and scatter. I'm trying to use a microphone to avoid that background noise, but it's real life living over here. I'm going to talk for about 40 to 45 minutes, and then I'll answer any questions that time allows. Now, if you ask a question and I already have it planned for later in the workshop, I probably won't answer it right now. If it's something that I think would be better, we have a one-on-one, I'll just connect with you offline and we'll go further into that. Now, I invite you to maximize your time invested in this masterclass and start minimizing your distractions. I know if you're like me, you've got me in your ear and you're doing other things. I invite you to take a break from those other things. Turn off the notifications, close your browser tabs, grab your beverage for hydration, and find a place with few interruptions. I know it's not always possible, but I really want to invite you to be present, right? Here I am, here you are. It's your time to really embrace the Eat More Plants way of living and use that to energize your life. And, people often say to me, I don't really get it. Like, why does it matter? Why does it matter what we eat? And gosh, if I didn't know that either, right? But when we have the energy to fulfill our dreams, when we have the energy, the productivity to be productive employees, successful entrepreneurs, happy and energized parents or grandparents, or really just happy people, right? Food affects our mood. So it does matter. It does matter what you feed yourself. So this workshop, if you let it, it will transform your life so that you can disrupt the status quo, get out of your comfort zone and take action immediately towards your Eat More Plants goals, which will help you meet those personal and professional goals that you have. And I'm honored to be a resource on your path and really help you connect with your Eat More Plants goals, learn your hopes and your dreams, and how myself and the Veg Inspired team can support you along the way. We've seen some new people pop in with our team live. Anita, Marilyn, Nikki, yes, your team live, but tuning in later if you get distracted at work. I totally get it. But welcome to the Using Food to Fuel Your Goals Healthy Habits for High Achievers Masterclass. I am your host, Kathy Davis, an international entrepreneur and founder of Veg Inspired, a 3-time cookbook author, and a plant-based lifestyle coach. Better yet, your Eat More Plants coach for the week. I empower high achievers to 10x their energy, step into their optimum performance, and achieve their goals by leveraging the power of plants. Our proven systems support eating more plants and fitting that little nugget of information into our already fast-paced schedules without requiring hours in the kitchen, added stress and overwhelm, or wondering, what am I going to eat? And I'm on a mission to create a ripple effect by providing the resources and support to help others change their lives and make a greater impact in the world by leveraging the power of food. So all week long, we're going to uncover the benefits of eating more plants and really helping you clarify what that might look like for you, right? Some of you are vegan and looking to eat more food, more whole plant foods. Some of you are brand new to plant-based eating. Some of you are still researching if that's going to work for you. And some of you are just happy eating what you're eating, but you want to eat more plants. You really want to leverage those foods throughout the day to energize your life. You may not ever be considering veganism or plant-based eating as a strict way of eating. And that's the beauty of us at Veg Inspired. We're inclusive and we want to support everyone toward their Eat More Plants goal. So I'm really excited. We put together a workbook for you to kind of drop down your notes. After some feedback from my last workshop, people said, give us more space for notes. So you've got more space for notes, but let's grab that, drop some love in the chat, give me some hearts. shoot this video up to the top of the feed and let's get ready for today's session. So we've all heard it, right? Eat more greens, eat more veggies, eat healthy. But what does that mean? Even the most successful people in the world speak about healthy and clean eating. You're scrolling through Instagram, you see entrepreneurs and business owners sharing that eating healthy helped them optimize their performance so they can reach their big goals. But what does healthy mean? I actually embarked on this journey 8 years ago. And over those 8 years, I've really kind of digested, for the best pun ever, lots and lots of information, consumed lots of information on what healthy really means. And leading research shows that healthy, optimizing diets are ones filled with whole, unprocessed plant foods, greens, grains, beans, vegetables, potatoes, fruits, nuts, seeds, and those diets with minimal use of animal products. Really the unprocessed and unrefined foods that have their fiber, their nutrients, their minerals, and those antioxidants intact. But guess what? That's not how we are in society. We're a society that wants it quick. We want it convenient. And countless studies tout the benefits on our organs for those high antioxidant foods, berries, dark vegetables, the ease of digestion of these whole unprocessed foods, performance and productivity that can be increased, wait for it, 25%. Performance and productivity that can be increased up to 25% when we eat a diet of whole unprocessed foods, mostly fruits and vegetables. I want you to think for a second. How would your life change if you could be 25% more productive? I mean, out of an 8-hour day, that means you could get done the same amount of work in 6 hours. Like who could use 2 hours off, right? Just because you ate more plants. Doctors have started treating patients by prescribing dietary plans of whole plant foods, treating, managing, and in some cases, even reversing illnesses and diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. We all know someone affected with those, right? How would your life be different if food could reverse or prevent some of those common illnesses? But what does that all have to do with using food to fuel our goals? Well, let's take a moment of time travel. 2 years ago, almost to the day, I was a part-time admin assistant working for someone else and hustling my veg-inspired work on the side. I was living out my dream life, traveling the US in an RV with my husband and the cats, but I was sick. I was overweight, constantly fatigued, exhausted, could not hike, could not do the bike rides, and I was starting to show many of the symptoms of prediabetes. But I was vegan, so I was healthy, right? I enjoyed the yummy foods that I ate at all the vegan restaurants that we went to as we traveled the country. I loved cooking at home, using all the vegan foods on the market. But the common denominator of my dis-ease was the amount of processed foods I was eating. I was eating more of the yummy vegan burgers than I was of the bean and veggie burgers. And despite my vegan diet, where I'd cut out the inflammatory dairy and the cholesterol-laden animal products, I was still sick, still feeling yucky, still feeling sluggish throughout most days. I would get winded walking around the markets, exhausted from a bike ride or a walk. And then most days I would rather have ordered takeout than cook. And I liked cooking. And, really digging into the two scary realities. One, I was starting to show symptoms of disease, prediabetes, insulin resistance, but I was afraid of going to the doctor because they would put me on medications. They would tell me to eat differently than I was. And I found that so many people, once they start on one medication, they just follow this pathway to a fistful. And that wasn't the trajectory I wanted. I was overweight. I was uncomfortable. I was unhappy. And I was living my dream life. The other scary reality is I knew what I needed to do. I knew what the research said. I'd been researching plant-based eating for more than 5 years. I knew that eating more whole foods, less processed foods, less refined foods was healthiest. But I hadn't committed to it. It was too hard, too restrictive, too expensive, too whatever you want to say. And the pivotal moment was a random day 2 years ago that I stepped on the scale to weigh one of our cats. And the scale came back at my highest weight ever. And I knew it wasn't the scale's fault, although I really wanted to chuck it out on the highway. And that was the end of that. But in that moment, the reality of the situation came to head. I had to make a change. I knew it was time to make my health and wellness a priority. So I did what I needed to do. I pulled out the books, looked at the videos, listened to podcasts, websites, gathered all my resources that I'd been reading over the previous 5 years of eating vegan. And honestly, we weren't unhealthy vegans. We just allowed a lot more of those processed foods in. And I put together a plan. Lucky for me, my husband was 100% on board. And together, like a little mastermind community, we adopted daily healthy habits. The plan was to follow whole food, clean, mostly unprocessed plant-based way of eating. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. We had awesome trips planned. We were going to Key West. We were going to Disney World. We had all these things coming. But I knew that if I made the habits daily habits, where I was making a lifestyle out of intention, that would be the winning combination. And that was how I got started 2 years ago. And I've since put together the Eat More Plants program that empowers others just like me, just like you, to create an intentional plan using the systems, the mindset work, the foods and recipes, and the implementation strategies to help you make eating more plants a way of life. So you might be wondering why I'm telling you this story and what it has to do with fueling your goals. And before I get into that, let's do a giveaway. So before the workshop started, I challenged you to share about the workshop, invite your friends, share on social, tag me. And I put together, see, Eddie wanted to say hi. I put together all of you that did that. And I am so grateful. And honestly, I wish I could send you all a gift. And I think I saw this winner pop in. And I don't have a drum roll, and I don't know. That was Eddie jumping off the thing and shaking the computer. I don't really have a drum roll per se, but our winner is Andrea Holtoff. I think I pronounced your name correctly. So make sure you message me over on Facebook or Instagram and let me know if you're here. Show us some love in the chat. We're congratulating you. You are our social sharing winner. If you want to be part of the giveaways, don't forget to turn in your homework. And that'll be all. I'll give you all the details about homework later. So Andrea, way to go. We're excited for you and we appreciate you sharing about the workshop. So back to the story. Why am I sharing all that with you? Well, 2 years ago when I made that commitment, my goal was to lose weight. But my results, what I've gained, far outweigh that. Increased energy, practically 10x. I could run marathons all day long. I scaled my business internationally. I'm no longer working for somebody else. I'm working for myself. I authored 3 cookbooks, the energy to write, test, retest, write, edit, refine, edit, write, eat, lots of eating. 3 cookbooks in less than 2 years. I lost 40 pounds. I gained confidence. I gained an increased cognitive performance, wellness, reducing aches, reversing acid reflux, reversing and reducing the symptoms of prediabetes, hiking 6+ mile moderately strenuous trails all over the United States, an overall sense of joy and accomplishment, healthiest I've ever been. I used to be the person who carried a box of Kleenex around because I had chronic sinusitis. No colds, no sicknesses, no ill feeling. My body is taking care of itself. And it's all from the power of plants. Which of those results would benefit you? How would your business or personal life change with an increase in energy, wellness, productivity? Can you afford to be sick and offline? Can you afford, or maybe it's more of a want? Do you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, all that work you're putting in now, in 10 or 20 or 30 years from now? Or do you want to be on a trajectory of dis-ease? We all know someone that's on that pathway to the dis-ease and the fistful of medications, just like I was. But what if it didn't need to be that way? What if you could have your plant-powered cake and eat it too? What if you could grow a thriving business, raise a happy, healthy family, or hold a powerful and impactful position at your company without sacrificing your health and wellness, all through leveraging the power of the foods you eat most of the time? You see, that's the thing. One of the big things that we've learned is that you don't have to be perfect. It's about the daily habits, what you do most of the time that can really lead to an overall sense of wellness. So I want you to take a minute right now. And I want you to visualize yourself in a year. Are you on the path to wellness, energy, optimized performance? Or is your current path going a different direction? Because if I hadn't made a change 2 years ago, I would definitely be in a different place than I am right now. What would it look like? What would it feel like if you were showing up at your optimum performance, at the top of your game, well rested, energized, excited, clear headed, fit, healthy, and happy? What would it feel like to show up on camera or in the boardroom as your best self? What would it feel like to have the energy after work to be able to breathe life and energy into your family? What would it feel like to be energized at 3 p.m. rather than grabbing coffee or a quick fix? What would it feel like to be able to work your side hustle after a grueling day at the office? What would it feel like to have the energy? What if you could be 25, 15, or even 10% more productive every day? How would that change your life, your business, your career, your happiness? If you had the energy to cook at home rather than take out, if you had the energy to put into that side hustle rather than just let it sit there as something that floats along, could you buy back time from your busy day because your increase in productivity and energy would allow you to get more done in less time? What if I told you it could all be done with real, normal food? Not supplements, not Band-Aid formulas, not weird energy drinks, but real food that you can find easily at any grocery store. You see, that's the key, right? I'm traveling the United States in an RV. Some little towns we go to outside the national parks don't have a Whole Foods. They don't have a Trader Joe's. They don't even have an organic section in the produce. It's about real food. And it can be done. And this week, we're going to unlock those secrets to using food to fuel your goals. And we're going to start right now with our healthy habit audit, because we have to start at the beginning in order to see the current state. And if I think back to how I was eating 2 years ago, there was a really great little restaurant in Daytona that we went to that had these amazing homemade vegan smash burgers. Smash burgers right on the griddle with vegan cheese and French fries. Went back and looked at some of my YouTube videos of chips and salsa and guacamole every day, and processed foods and oily vegan burgers and lots of vegan foods. Takeout several times a week. Yikes. I still enjoy those. I still had one of those smash burgers, but not 4 or 5 times a week. Not allowing it to be the daily habits, allowing it to be those once in a while special occasions. So for the healthy habit audit, this is what I want you to do. And this is no shame. Write down everything you've eaten in the last 24 hours, starting with lunch yesterday. Now, this is kind of a win for some of you because you were home and you're not going to say, well, I had a light lunch, or I skipped lunch because I was working. Right? So it's better if you do these kinds of things on like a Wednesday, because you're like, oh, that's the real hustle. But what did you eat? What did you have for lunch? What did you have for snacks yesterday at home? What did you have for dinner? Did you eat breakfast this morning? Did you eat before you went to bed? Have you eaten lunch yet today? Later this week, I'll speak on my philosophy of intention over perfection and really how I used that intention in a way to create daily habits. Because the foods we eat once in a while, they're not the issue. It's not that once in a while burger. It's that everyday burger. It's that everyday piece of vegan cheese. It's that everyday processed granola bar or processed, sugary foods that you're eating. So this exercise is really to gain an awareness of where you are and the little places that you can possibly make a change. So once you've jotted down what you've eaten, next we're going to make check marks next to the whole clean foods. So we're going to make check marks next to the things that are whole, unprocessed, things like beans, grains, greens, veggies, fruits, nuts, seeds, potatoes, trying to think, lentils. That's pretty easy, right? Check mark. Maybe you had a salad. Maybe you had some fruit for a snack. Maybe you had, a cookie. That probably wouldn't fit. This is where the catch comes in. Strike through any of those items that are inflammatory, and I'll get to that, or had inflammatory or processed ingredients. So one of the things that really stands out with an Eat More Plants, following an Eat More Plants diet or following an Eat More Plants way of eating, and you can hear the rain on my roof probably, is in processed foods, there's lots of hidden ingredients, sugars, salts, extracted and refined oils, refined carbohydrates, high fructose corn syrup, dairy, milk powders, things like processed meats, red meats, fried foods, sodas, sweetened beverages. All of those things would fall under the strike. So here's the downside. You might eat potatoes and salad, but if you load it with a dairy-laden creamy ranch dressing, is the dressing going to make you feel good, or is the dressing going to make you feel bad? So kind of start to think about those little nuances. Could you use a nut-based dressing? Could you use a maple mustard dressing? Could you use, a dressing that has cleaner ingredients, maybe mashed avocado and lime juice? How can you pivot the foods that you're eating to add more plants without making it inconvenient, right? Because it's so much easier to grab the Hidden Valley Ranch off the shelf than it is to make your own tofu ranch. So how do we make plant-based eating easier? And that's going to be our focus for Wednesday. So question number 2 on the audit, how much water have you had to drink in the last 24 hours? Right? Because we're talking about holistic, healthy habits. When you eat a diet high in fiber, lots of veggies, lots of fruits, lots of whole grains, you're going to want to increase your water. Helps everything move smoothly through. Right? So the purpose of the Healthy Habit Audit is to help you see the gaps. And over the years, I've reviewed countless journals, articles, studies, looking, researching from various practitioners, nutritionists, and have really found that the common symptoms of chronic inflammation are fatigue, body pain, depression and anxiety, digestive issues, weight gain, weight loss, infections, and illness. So when I think back over my own story about all of these symptoms that I had all these symptoms of pre-diabetes that really led to that fatigue and chronic inflammation, the pain. Everything overlaps, which is why we end up on those fistfuls of medication, because we process one symptom, we band-aid one symptom with a medication, and then that leads to another symptom and another symptom and another symptom. And then by the end, we need all of these things to really get us in our healthy space. Every one of those articles stated to start with a healthier diet to reduce inflammation. The resources also stated that prolonged inflammation can lead to cancer, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, rheumatoid arthritis, cognitive decline, and dementia. So what if we started early? What if we are on the early train, ahead of the mainstream information? There's doctors now prescribing plant-based eating to combat a lot of these symptoms. What if now we start now and we make it so that in 10 years, we're 10 years ahead of the game, right? They used to say that smoking cigarettes was healthy. If people quit when the first couple of people came out and said it wasn't healthy, how much further along the track would they be? Next question on the healthy habit audit. Did you intentionally exercise or move your body in the last 24 hours? Right? Because we're looking at holistic foods, movement, hydration. Now, people will say to me, oh my gosh, that's a lot of things to change. You want me to eat all these plants? You want me to drink more water? You want me to move every day? I just want you to make one small change, one small new habit, because you're here and you're in the room. And that pathway to the fistful of illness, the sluggishness, we can correct that. It doesn't have to be your path. And this week, we're going to uncover your path to eating more plants using the systems, the foods, and the implementation strategies that I've used, as well as what I'm teaching my clients, so that you can use food to fuel your personal and professional goals and start implementing healthy habits. So now that we've done the audit, how do we make those food changes? Let's take a look first at what the energy zappers are, right? We're here to 10x our energy. So how do we make changes to eliminate those energy zappers? Energy zapper number one is refined sugar. And it is in everything. Coffee creamers, random processed foods. Refined sugar does boost your energy a bit, but because it processes so quickly in our body, leaves us with a huge sugar rush and then that sugar slump. And when I'm sitting here talking about sugar, I'm not just saying that the animal product ingredients have refined sugar. All the processed ingredients do. Everything has a little sweetener to it. Because guess what? Sugar is kind of like morphine, kind of addictive. So if the manufacturers can put a little sugar in your food, you're going to come back and you're going to want more. And it's going to give you that quick boost of energy. And you're going to be like, oh, I could use a Mountain Dew in the middle of the afternoon. I could use some candy in the middle of the afternoon. That'll give me a quick fix. And then in like 45 minutes later, you're like, oh, I need something else. I'll grab another one of those. So better options would be fruit, fresh or dried, complex carbohydrates that occur naturally in nature, potatoes, starchy veggies, pumpkin, squash, corn. You're probably like, well, how am I going to trade corn for candy? That might not be an equal trade, but maybe it's the fruit. Maybe in your desk drawer, you keep some trail mix. So you have those nuts, seeds, and some fresh fruit. Maybe you swap out those potato chips or the sugary granola bar that has lots of refined sugar and lots of refined grains, and you have oranges, which are really high in energy boosting, or bananas that are really high in natural sugars to really give you that longer satiation. Maybe it's oats. Maybe you eat an overnight oat or a chia pudding in the middle of the afternoon for that pick you up at 3 o'clock rather than the vending machine food. Energy zapper number 2, processed foods. So this is like one of those, it seems obvious, but we still eat them. I want you to think about refined foods where it's been extracted. So where the whole grain, the whole sugars, the whole food has been extracted or refined down. Oils, grains. Think of like the difference between a Kind bar and a Nutri-Grain bar. The Kind bar has the whole food, the whole nuts, the whole seeds, the whole berries, the whole fruits, the whole flavorings. The Nutri-Grain bar is all mushed and processed. Lots of extra things added in. Foods that are modified so far from their natural state. And I get the oil question a lot. And I want you to think of oil as what it is. Fat extracted from a whole food. Extremely calorically dense. While olive oil may be healthier than canola oil or bacon fat, it may not be a health food, right? A healthier option might be to have a snack of olives or half of an avocado on some crackers, or maybe some, I don't know, adding corn to the top of your salad instead of canola oil. So better options from processed foods would be whole foods, veggies over processed chips. So maybe you take, cucumber and you drizzle on a nice balsamic vinegar, or you do trail mix over processed granola bars, where when you look at the trail mix, you can see the whole foods. Think of whole grain cereal over refined cereal, whole oats over cereals with oats. Think of brown rice over white rice, whole grain pasta over white pasta. And then this is a really good example because it kind of shows you the whole picture. So think of a natural peanut butter that might be peanuts and nuts over a peanut butter with fillers and oils, right? So when you think of peanut butter, you think, gosh, that's been refined from a peanut. So one of the beauties of eating more whole plant foods, more clean foods, is that you don't have to do a lot of ingredient reading. And I know there's a question in the chat about sugars and ingredients, so we'll get to that. You don't have to do a lot of ingredient reading, but we do have to be aware of some of the ingredients that are put in foods and why. For convenience, we might buy peanut butter, soy milk, non-dairy creamer, non-dairy yogurts, canned beans, vegetables, whole grain pastas, canned tomatoes, but you really need to know what you're looking for and really start to select a cleaner option. Many of our foods are marketed as healthy, but they contain loads of sugar, salt, and oil, which makes them not as healthy, right? We were talking on one of my calls and somebody said, there is sugar in one of the cans of beans that I bought. And I was like, I would never have thought to look there. There's oil in some of the seasonings and spice mixes to keep them from caking. You have to start to, I'm not really a big ingredient reader because I don't buy a lot of foods that require ingredients. Like broccoli is pretty much broccoli, beans are pretty much beans, but I am aware and talking about things, other names for MSG, other names for sugars, fructose, corn syrup, dextrose, anything that has that ose really might be an alternative to sugar that's going to do the same kind of sugar spike, sugar crash. Ketchup is a huge one to watch. Non-organic ketchups often have loads of high fructose corn syrup. So picking the organic ketchup that uses the cane sugar may not be a healthy, but it's healthier than the ketchups with high fructose corn syrup. So just that small switch allows you to eat more of a cleaner ketchup. And it's not always perfect. You might go to a restaurant and have to eat ketchup with sugar. It's not about being perfect. The other big inflammatory energy zapper is dairy. Some people just don't tolerate dairy, so they don't tolerate lactose, so they're already dairy free. But dairy can have a huge negative effect on our anxiety, our hormones, our cognitive function, our memory function, our weight management, and our overall health. If you think about what milk is, milk comes from a cow. It is to feed a baby cow, to make a baby cow grow big. So as a food for that purpose, you can imagine what it would do to a human. Hormones, right? It's full of hormones for the baby cows, full of growth hormones so that they grow bigger. As an inflammatory food, it can also make us feel really poorly and therefore affect our performance. Better options would be alternative dairy products in their cleanest state. So we're going to talk a little bit more about foods later in the week, but one of the big caveats to that is a lot of the alternative dairy milks have loads and loads of fillers and sugar because they want to tap into what tastes good. They want to tap into those sugars that are naturally occurring in whole milk so that you come back for more of the soy milk or the almond milk. So looking at milks, non-dairy milks that have few ingredients. Some of my favorite brands are Elmhurst, Eden, the Trader Joe's soy milk is really clean, the organic one, West Soy, other products like Kite Hill. So these are great products that will allow you to eat a cleaner version of these whole foods, right? Because we're not here to just do a one-for-one alternative. If you've been vegan long enough, you've probably been in groups where somebody who's coming in there to stir the pot has posted like whole beef versus a Beyond Burger, and there's like the number of ingredients. I'm not telling you to eat either of those. I'm telling you to make a homemade black bean burger. No cholesterol, no funny ingredients, energizing, full of protein. So throughout the week, we're going to be digging deeper into the foods that are whole and clean and how to make plant-based eating more accessible for you. Everybody's schedule is different. Everybody's life's different, right? International business means I work into weird hours. It means I'm talking to people all over the world. It means my schedule is a little bit different. I travel the United States full time. Imagine if you were planning a vacation indefinitely. Think about what goes into planning your own vacations. The scheduling, the bookings, the traveling, the checking the maps, the arranging with family and friends. That's what I do day in and day out. And at first people are like, oh, but your life's easy. And I was like, yeah, but I'm busy. Like I have to fit this in too. I get up in the morning, I make my oats. People always ask me, well, what do you eat? I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. Some type of oat with blueberries, little maple syrup, little ground flax, little vanilla, cinnamon or cardamom. I'm predictable. Lately, I've been eating the same lunch. Really big salad with lots of colorful veggies, usually spinach and romaine to get the crunch, carrots, tomatoes, broccoli sprouts, some onion, some seeds. I don't know, whatever seeds we have on hand, maybe nuts instead, some beets. I love beets. I love the colors. Maybe some red cabbage if I can't find, some cooked beets. A nice whole plant sauce, and then a starch, brown rice, potatoes. I've been loving boiled potatoes. Boil them in a little bit of salted water. I could eat them cold. I could eat them with organic ketchup. I can eat them with maple mustard dressing. I can eat them in tahini sauce. Make it easy. You're not going to hear me say meal prep for 16 hours on Sunday because I don't do that. That's not easy to me. On Sunday, I want to be out exploring the world that I'm traveling, the United States. So throughout the week, we're really going to dig deeper into these foods and how to make it more accessible for you. The best way to make change is through small, intentional changes. I do not want you to go into your kitchen right now, open up a trash bag and pull everything out and say, I'm all in, I'm going to buy all the whole foods. And then on Thursday, be like, I'm exhausted, right? I don't want you to put yourself on a whole food or clean diet. I want you to choose one intentional place to start. In order to create lasting habits and rewrite years of programming and beliefs and habits, you need to start small and have small wins, building your confidence. If you start today and you're like, I'm going to eat oats for breakfast every day, and you do that for a week, on Friday, you might be like, I could do a lunch next week. I could buy the food. I could buy groceries for starch and salad for lunch like Kathy does, because it's building your confidence, Creating lasting change takes time. I was telling somebody yesterday, I still remind myself at the grocery store in front of the chips, that doesn't align with my goals. That's not what I want to spend my money on. That's not the food that I want to bring into my house. That doesn't mean I don't like chips. That doesn't mean I don't like to eat them. It just means that I'm choosing intentional actions. Some weeks we do buy chips. Most weeks we don't. But creating lasting change takes time and it takes intention. And that's where a lot of us fall off the wagon, right? I am a yo-yo dieter from way back. I've tried it all and I've failed at it all until I made the mindset shift. And that's what you have this week. You have me here to support you, help you with these action steps, help you towards your Eat More Plants goal. And starting today with your homework, you can make an imperfect action. You can decide. So your homework is to identify and take imperfect action on one swap, one easy, healthy habit that you can start right now. Maybe it's a whole food snack this afternoon. Maybe you're going to have a salad with a homemade dressing for lunch. Maybe it's an extra side of veggies with dinner. Maybe it's less oil or dairy on your meal tonight. Maybe it's a whole grain breakfast with oats or quinoa for breakfast tomorrow. And there are recipes in the back of your workbook that are hyperlinked. So you can actually link to the recipes in the workbook from the digital version. Maybe it's a coffee with a non-dairy milk or creamer and less sugar. Maybe you skip the latte with the dairy and you select oat milk or soy milk instead. And you might be thinking, yeah, but you just told us that some oat milks and soy milks have fillers. One baby step. One step in the right direction. If you overhaul it all, it's like going on any lifestyle change or diet. You try it and then you fail because you made it too hard. Don't make it so hard. Make it easy. Cook whole grains or quinoa or potatoes instead of refined pastas and grains. So maybe if you were doing, spaghetti for dinner, maybe you try it with brown rice. Maybe you grab a veggie burger rather than an animal burger. And again, small steps. Maybe it's a veggie sandwich. Maybe it's a salad instead of fries. Whatever it is, it's up to you to make that small choice, that small change. Ideally, whatever you decide, you would repeat over and over. Maybe it's a small change indefinitely. The non-dairy creamer in your coffee, the fruits as the afternoon snacks. Stacy, can you send Craig the workbook link? It was in the email that came out. It's a download. So the key to the imperfect action is to start right away with one small change that will help you create lasting changes because you are making the decision and taking action right away. You're not waffling along, trying to plan or buy or figure out. You're simply taking quick action. Maybe it's digging the apples out of the back of the fridge. Maybe it's looking for a trail mix that you can mix up with the nuts and seeds and dried fruit that you already have in your pantry and taking that instead of a processed granola bar. Maybe it's grabbing the banana that you normally eat for breakfast as your afternoon snack. And then stepping into yourself. I am eating more plants. I am choosing fruits and vegetables over processed foods. I am choosing the salad over processed food. I am. What are you doing? Working with yourself on what you can do and what you can say to yourself is also important. Maybe you drop sticky notes all over your house that say, I am choosing more plant foods. I am eating more plants. I am eating more plants. So you can also share that affirmation. What are you doing? Not what aren't you doing, right? Let's focus it on the positive. What are you doing? How are you stepping into your Eat More Plants goal? So what we'll do after this is we will post a homework post in the Facebook group within the hour. And you can either go in there and drop your homework. What's that one action step that you can take right away that you can repeat every day? Or you can email it to me and you can just reply to one of those emails. Homework needs to be in by 10:30 a.m. to be included in the giveaways. So that gives you a little less than 24 hours. It just allows me to put everybody into the circle spin and spin it. Let's see. Stacy. Oh, I didn't give you the link to the foodies group, Stacy, but if you want to pull that from Facebook and drop that in the chat, it's the Veg Inspired Healthy Habits for High Achievers Facebook group. I'm going to run back through questions that were in the chat. If you have questions, feel free to drop those in. Janine, oat milk. Oh, so oat milk is challenging. So Elmhurst has an oat milk too. And if you guys don't know who Elmhurst is, they have a unique story. They were a dairy farm that turned into a milked nuts, milked rices, milked other plant foods. It's Elmhurst. And thanks, Stacy. And they're really good. And then I drink soy milk. So I like West Soy or Eden. But Elmhurst has cashews and peanuts and all sorts of flavors. And I believe they have an oat milk as well. Let's see. Craig, you got the workbook. So we're going to talk specifically about ingredients, Craig. So I'll circle back on your questions for other names for sugars. Nancy, yes, your own dressings when you go out. And if you don't have time to make your own dressings, some easy dressings that you can put together at a restaurant are like balsamic vinegar and a little mustard and a little bit of maple if they have that. You can also do smashed avocado and lemon or lime juice to really add that creaminess. You could do hummus with a little extra lemon. So if they have hummus, you can mix that. Sometimes I just ask for the oil and vinegar and just do vinegar and maybe some lemon to kind of cut the tartness. Let's see. I think that's all the questions I saw. So awesome. Well, so this is what's going to be. We're going to be in the Zoom room. I'm going to be sharing with you the tips and resources all week long, connecting with you on either Instagram, Facebook, or an email to really make sure that you're getting your pathway put together and making plant-based eating accessible to you. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Each session will be about an hour. So kind of plan that in. And I love seeing you connect in the chat. I love that you have your cameras on. I really, really appreciate that. Stacy, if you want to make me the host, I can end the live on Facebook. Again, if you want to watch this replay, the replay page will come out within the hour. It just depends on how long it takes for me to export this out of Zoom and get it uploaded to the page. But I'm really excited to hear your imperfect actions and connect with you all on clarity calls. Do not forget to get that clarity call booked. If we have not already connected, I really want to connect with you and make sure you get the most out of the workshop. If any of you are like, I need help, talk to me, drop your questions, send me a message. Let's see how we can make sure that what I'm putting in this workshop really works for you and gets you the answers that you need. And I will see all of you tomorrow at noon. Looks like we've got some team lives over on Facebook. Yes, yes, yes. Super cubes for saving your own dressings. That is a great, great idea, Lainey. So anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. You are welcome and have a